sing along. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Sing your glory to the Lord.
Our next speaker is an interesting combination for you tonight. Not only is he a rabbi, he is also an ophthalmologist. So he's going to help us see better tonight. All right, he's going to improve our spiritual vision, as he always does. If you've ever heard our next guest, if you've ever heard him talk, he will increase your knowledge, he will increase your vision, and so we couldn't think of a better combination of not only an eye doctor, but also a rabbi. And here he comes up on stage now, and we will bring him forward. Rabbi Rabbi Aviner. Rabbi?
Hello, good evening. I want to express my appreciation for you for inviting me. And Ray is not here, but I like to mention is how much I appreciate the opportunity he gave me and others. But of course, I can speak only for me. I would like to express my appreciation to Ray Peterson. He's not here right now. For the opportunity he gave me to participate in his virtual yeshiva classes. So, Baruch Hashem, we have had already 2 cycles. This is now the 2nd cycle we learn about the 7th commandment. We had about 78 classes, each class was just 1 week. So 78 classes on the 7th commandment. We passed through a cycle. Now we have started a new cycle. And the class is small, but people who stuck with me, we went through some very dedicated people there, and now they stuck to me all the way through, and that was nice. I don't see any of them here, but I like to express my appreciation to them too. So, having said that, from all my heart, I like to start with our topic. And I was asked to talk about Rosh HaShana in Bnei Noach. And the question, if you think about Rosh HaShana, which is a New Year celebration, Rosh HaShana is a jewelry in the crown of Jewish holidays for Bnei Noach. Why is that? Because you can celebrate Purim, but Purim belongs to the history of the Jewish people, and Bnei Noach were not threatened directly by Achashverosh. You can celebrate, empathize, or clap your hand for the Jewish people when they celebrate Hanukkah. That's nice, but you were not threatened by the Greek like the Jewish people were. So if you look at all this Jewish holiday, even Passover, Bnei Noach were not necessarily redeemed in Egypt. They were not enslaved into Egypt. Although the children of Israel were in that category of Bnei Noach at that time, but still, Passover is a Jewish thing. And it's not, you can empathize it, of course. You learn a lot from that, you derive all kind of conclusion from that. But it's not directly your holiday. The same is true with Yom Kippur, with all this enormous, awesome meaning of atonement. Yet, Yom Kippur is a day that the Jewish people were forgiven for the sin of golden calf. So Bnei Noach, they have their own sin probably, but they were not in the golden calf story. So if you look at the whole array of the Jewish holiday, one holiday stands out that has really, really direct meaning to Bnei Noach, and that's Rosh HaShana. And the Rosh HaShana is the head of the year, New Year. And you ask me now, what is the New Year had to do with Bnei Noach? Because Rosh Hashanah is not just the the head of the year. It's a holiday. It's a holiday of the new year. It's a holiday of creation. So when we convene in the synagogue and we recite, we chant in our sidurim, we chant the holiday liturgy, we recite them. So we mention, the first thing we mention, Ayom Harat Olam. Today is the birthday of the world. In fact, it's not the birthday of the world, but it's a birthday, Rosh Hashanah is the birthday of mankind, which happened on the sixth day. So it's not a anniversary of creation, but in a sense not on the first day of creation, but on the sixth day of creation, because it's celebration. We celebrate the creation of mankind. In fact, if you want to be more accurate, more particular, Rosh Hashanah is Adam. The sixth day, many other things were created. Hashem created, as you know, the cattle, the beast, everything that crawl on the ground, serpents, snakes. So he created many things on that Friday. But Adam was created the last one, before the Sabbath. So if you want conceptually to categorize Rosh Hashanah, is that memorial day of the 6 day story of creation of Adam, the last minute of Friday, before the Sabbath, so to speak. Minute, we can discuss what minute is, but the last thing the last thing that was certainly created on Friday, on the 6th day, was Adam. So Rosh Hashanah then is a restaging of that event. And since we are talking about creation of Adam and Eve, well, it's not a Jewish holiday. It's a holiday of you and me and everyone. And so as we sit in the synagogue, we sing, we chant, today is a Harat Olam, today is the birthday of creation, which we mean Adam creation. And then we continue to Ayom Yamid B'Mishpat Kol Yitzurei Olamim. Today, we all pass before you in judgment. All the creatures of the world pass before you at the judgment. And that's kind of strange. New Year, Jewish people don't throw a party. We don't kiss our neighbor's wife. We don't shoot in the air, and we don't parade in the street with dragon. Instead, we convene into the synagogue and we stand in judgment. No other culture, no other nation on earth ever celebrated the new year in that fashion. Nobody gets drunk on Rosh Hashanah. Instead, you stand in judgment. So where does it come from? So and we recite today every creature in the world. I'm just recited for you. Today, every creature in the world passes before you as you sit on the throne as a high justice, and you remember and you examine every creature. Every creature. the light and matter, water, dry land, vegetation, the luminaries, the fish, the bird, the crocodile, everything that's stored in Genesis. Everything there passed before you today on judgment. While you sit and examine each one of them. So what kind of judgment a mosquito has, we don't know. It's between the mosquito and Hashem, and His Creator. What judgment the black hole had? Well, the black hole converses with its Creator, and he has his own judgment. We don't know it. There are natural laws, there are all kinds of laws that the nature is judged. But we too, part of nature, and as part of nature, we also pass judgment, no different than mosquito conceptually. So Rosh HaShana is a day of creation. It's a day of remembrance and judgment. So we pass before Him and He judges each one of us. And it's a day of we blow the shofar. We blow the shofar, and then at the time of the temple, we used to blow the trumpet. Why did we throw the trumpet with the shofar? Because of shofar break our heart for repentance, but there is another aspect of it. Shofar, the horn were blown when the camp used to in the wilderness, when the camp of Israel used to move right and left, used to walk by the blow of the shofar. So it's a sign of traveling. It's not just returning to you with broken heart, but we know where we come from and where we are going. And there's another aspect why there in the temple time they used to blow the silver trumpet to honor Hashem as a king. Because so we have, I mentioned the three elements. Zichronot, Hashem remember us, shofar. All our liturgy, all the liturgy of the Rosh HaShana revolve around these three themes, which is a beautiful day, beautiful thing. The liturgy is unbelievable, beautiful, meaningful. He remember us, and he quote everything necessary to that topic. He remember us. We blow the shofar to enthrone Him, to break our heart. And we enthrone Him, mamlachot. We enthrone Him as our King, which means what? Since we are moving to in history, so we are looking forward, and we see one day something will change. And what will change in Rosh HaShana? We quote from the prophet, everyone, all the nation of the earth will know your name. Will throw away their idols, and they will know your name. So the end of idolatry. Now that's a little bit particular. I have to pay attention. The Jewish people don't pray for the end of bloodshed, or the number 2, or adultery, or number 2, number 3, bloodshed, or theft, or the end of injustice, or the end of blasphemy. From all the commandments, we just pick up the first one, idolatry, the end of idolatry. And we translate it in the phrase of the prophet. We say the end of idolatry is 2 things. People will throw away the idols, and they recognize your name. That you are Hashem, Hashem, Yud He Vav Kei, Hashem, 4 letters, that you are one, and you will remain one, and so on. So what is the prophet, where did the prophet derive that notion that idolatry is these 2 things, to know Hashem and to throw away the idols? So what is idolatry? Idolatry is defined in the pamphlet that I gave you a little bit. You see the top there? You can read, Moses put the Ten Commandments. The first two commandments says, I am Hashem Elokim, who took you out of the land of Egypt. And he continued. And then this is the first commandment. The second commandment says, thou shalt not make other God beside me. So there's a positive and a negative command side. The first part of commandment of idolatry is to know, not to believe, but to know the name of Hashem, because that's how he presents himself. To know, in this particular name, Hashem Elokim, it doesn't say I am the king of the universe, or I'm the awesome, great this and that, or creator. He says, I am Hashem Elokim. That's how he presents himself. That's how he wants us to know him. And then he says, do not make other idols. Now, idolatry, let's make a point here. Let's make a very point here, because people can say, well, this is the Ten Commandments to Israel. Why should I, as a Ben Noach, relate to that? What do I need to know this name, Yud-Heh Vav Kei, Elokim? What is that to do with me? Indeed, idolatry was given to Adam in Eden. It was repeated to Noach and Bnei Noach in the Rainbow Covenant. Now come Moses and only support the idolatry commandment that was given to Adam and Noah. And we have a rule of thumb. We have a rule of thumb from the Talmud that says it's a commandment was given to Noah, to Adam and Noah. Any commandment was given to Adam and Noah and was repeated by Moses to Israel, it's applicable to both. So Moses didn't come and took out the commandment of idolatry and gave it only to Israel. By repetition, he actually put his own stamp on both. So Bnei Noach, according to that rule, Bnei Noach are obligated to know the name of Hashem, to know commandment in the same way that Israel do. Which means, well, they are not be punishable by that. Israel is more punishable, almost by death, conceptually, if we violate idolatry. The Noah are not necessarily punishable by that, as the Talmud says. They are only warned, yet they need to know that's part of idolatry commandment. And some will say, well, those fancy names, only Moses knew that, theologians knew that. Well, Enosh knew that, the great-grandfather of Noah already knew the name of Yud-Heh Vav Kei. And Adam actually was the one who named the acronym Yud-Heh Vav Kei. Adam was the one who gave the name, Elokim. So nobody can say that Adam and Noach didn't know those names, and only Jews in a Kabbalistic, mystical fashion, they know this name. No, this name has nothing to do with Kabbalah, and nothing to do with mystic, nothing to do with mysticism. This is a plain verse of the Torah. The first commandment of the first of the Ten Commandments, that happened to also be applicable to Bnei Noach. So it's not enough for Bnei Noach to say, well, I believe in Hashem, and I leave all the theoretical things to the theologian. Why should I care? All I need to be is a good man, donate money, sing, I believe in Hashem, and that's all, fine. No. You believe in Hashem, but then what? You need to know who the Hashem is. Who said that? Hashem himself. Hashem himself demands from you. It's a commandment, incumbent on every Ben Noach to know those names, to be familiar with it. Otherwise you cannot open one page of the Bible and read it without knowing what these names are. So what is those names? What are those names mean? What is Elokim and what is Hashem? Yud-Heh Vav Kei. What do you need to know? Well, we don't have to guess. The Bible actually happened to start with those names. The first chapter of Genesis introduces to you the concept of Elokim. And I pointed out for you here the first chapter of Genesis so we can read it. And it says, day 1, at the beginning, Elokim created heaven and earth. Now, what is so it doesn't say God created the heaven and earth, it says Elokim. So what is Elokim? Elokim, as you know, many of you know, Elokim is a judge. So who created the world? A judge. What for? To stand judgment. That's Rosh HaShana. Day of creation, you stand in judgment. Because who created you? Not God. God is a revered name. Nobody quarrels with the name of God, but it has no meaning. It has no specific meaning. Specific meaning if you use the name, the title. Elokim is an attribute, is a title. The essence of God, Hashem, we don't know. Nobody is beyond our conception. Human being cannot perceive what Hashem really is, but we can relate to Him by the way He behaves, the hat that He wears at a particular time. So the Torah says that, when he created the world, He wore the hat of a judge. He sat on the throne of judgment, harsh judgment, and He created the world to stand judgment. And right there, you have the essence of Judaism, of the Torah. We are here for one purpose: to stand judgment. Not only everyone, the whole creation. How many times the word Elokim repeat itself in this chapter? There is no other chapter in the Torah. I quoted to you. Actually, I counted. You can read the first line, the second line. I actually put a number before every time the name of Elokim appear, and you see the name after the 6th day. You come to 32 times. I can bet. I bet with you. There is no other chapter in the entire Bible that's so filled, sprinkled by the name of Elokim as the first chapter of the Genesis. It fills the universe. It fills nature. The 6 days of nature are filled by Elokim. I know it by heart. I don't need even to look to count them. Why I know it by heart? Because 32 in Hebrew is Lamed Bet. It's like 30 is L, 2 is B. So if I say LB, it doesn't mean anything in English, but in Hebrew, LB, Lev, heart. Elokim fills nature. Feel it. There are other names that surround the nature. Elokim feel the nature like the heart feel the body. So He didn't create a nature. He is here, spirituality, material, matter, spirituality. This doesn't exist in the Torah. Elie Wiesel described that when the German came to his town, when he was 13, he was 13 years old. The German came, the Nazis came. He was so wrapped in Hasidic learning that he was walking in the street of Siget, and every leaf of a tree, he saw Elokim hiding behind every leaf, every stone. This is when the German took him and threw him to Auschwitz. So Elokim permeates the nature. You look at this table, Elokim is inside. So what is 32th time he feel? Also, Elokim, there is another miracle of the Hebrew language, because Elokim with Hey is the numerical time is nature. He created the law of nature. He created nature and he ruled it, but the judge, as a judge, if he's a judge, then there must be some laws. Otherwise, he cannot judge. So what are the ways? How does Elokim behave? These attributes, when you sit on a throne, like Rosh HaShana, when you sit on a throne of the justice and every creature passes before him, and the story is restaged. He ascends again on the throne of justice, and he sits there, and the whole creation passes before him again. What are the characteristics of this Elokim? How does he judge? The oral Torah describes it. Measure by measure. You do something, he will pay you exact fashion. No mercy. Don't expect mercy from him. He has a scale. You do something, you get positive point. You do something negative, negative. He takes the balance and he pays you back. Swiftly, without blinking an eye. So the word, the Torah says that the sixth day of creation were made by this attribute. He is also kind. He's swift, he's justice. He presents absolute justice. Absolute justice with no mercy. Tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. Absolute justice, no mercy there. But he's also kind. He provides food. King David devoted in the psalm, many psalm songs are devoted for Elokim as a provider, as a giving a shelter. He's kind, but he pay you measure by measure. You pay something, you do something wrong, you pay. Don't worry. So what did he do through the sixth day? Now listen to that. The Torah represents you now the concept of Elokim in the first chapter of Genesis. There will be other attributes we will learn maybe tomorrow. There's some other attributes, so don't panic. Shem has sometimes wear other hats related to the story of Rosh HaShana. But here we're talking about particular attribute of justice. So, what did he do? What did the Torah now present Elokim, and Elokim is also truth. His nickname is truth because he presents absolute justice. So the Torah now take a very risky point, and he presents Elokim in a certain context. The Torah could have said, the Torah after all only wanted to describe the creation of man, Rosh HaShana. So the Torah could have said, in the beginning, Elokim created the world, and then he created man. Why should he tell us the story of the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth day? Why? The Torah took enormous risk. Because if we find that the story is not true, and the story of creation is not like the story in the Bible, there's something wrong with the concept of Elokim, because Elokim is supposed to present the truth. So the Torah goes now and describes you in detail the process of creation. To support the notion that Elokim is truthful. So let's see if this is true, what she's telling us about creation. Remember, if you find something wrong, then the whole Bible is not true. Because the story of creation is not wrong if it's just a childish story. So we can all pack and go home. There's no reason to learn the Bible, to believe in Hashem. So Torah took the risky path, the most risky path that you can imagine, and now devote the whole chapter, 32 times the name of Elokim, truth, to describe the story of creation. So let's see what he says about creation, if this is true or not. So day one, what did he create it in day one? There was a chaos. First of all, there was a beginning, time zero. There was a chaos, abyss, no formal thing, what we would call today entropy. There was no order of things, abyss. And then suddenly Elokim said, let it be light. Light and matter. So out of chaos came order, out of light, energy, Einstein equation. Now we can relate to it a little bit. The first molecule, water, along perhaps with gases, the most primitive gases, the Big Bang. All that is day one. How long did it take? The story end of the day one, and Hashem and Elokim called it. There was evening, there was more evening, and there was morning. Day one. It doesn't say the first day. In Hebrew, it should have said first day, Rishon, because the second day is called the second day, the third day, and the fourth day. Then the first day should have been called also the first day. But the Torah says day one day, Yom Echad. So Yom Echad, it means the Torah defined to you what is a day. Day with a capital D. So it's not our day because the sun and moon are not there. So what the Torah described here as a creational day, how long did it take? As long as it took to chaos to go into order, and from energy to create matter, and to form the first molecule. Well, the Kabbalistic scholars already put a number on that. Abraham Abulafia actually wrote it took 14 billion years. He wrote it in the 9th century according to his teachers. Turned out to be his right. The History Channel tell you 14 billion years. History Channel didn't read Abulafia. And Abulafia didn't watch the History Channel. Turned out the number is exactly the same. And Abulafia took it from Psalm. It's not from now. Look at the internet of our classes and you will see the detail of Abulafia calculation there. So, fine. Day one fit what we perceive today, the first stage of creation. No, could be first Big Bang, time zero. Now we talk about negative time, could be. So there is a positive time arrow this way, negative time there. Anyhow, there was a beginning. And it fits History Channel. So let's see now what happened the second day. The second day, Elokim now took the water from above, separated it, and made it the water on earth. So the space is full of water. Well, we know that. The comets are all water. So at that stage, Earth was covered with a thick water that came from space. Who says that? History Channel. They know it. They take, you can see a beautiful Earth covered with thick ice. Nothing to do with the Bible, just that, When it happened, a few billion years ago, that's what they say. There is a proof for that. The water, they say, came from space. I understand how History Channel know that. But I don't understand how Moses knew that. How Moses could know that. Growing in the house of Pharaoh, where the mythical story of creation was as such. Read Karen Armstrong books. She writes, she knows everything about religion, comparative religion. She writes that the Egyptians believed that the world was created because there was a sexual, one god, male god with a female god, and it took from the embryo, he was jealous, he took the embryo out, he castrated it, took his testicle, threw it to the sea, and the mother went to the sea, picked up the testicle, and recreated the man, and recreated the earth, and so on. This is what the Egyptians knew about creation. When Moses wrote that the earth was covered with ice, on the second day, there is no record of such story in the Pharaoh archives. Babylonian can tell you another mythical story. Chinese, Japanese talk about the spear that he threw out in Raf. Fine. Indian, everyone has a mythological story, but to fit History Channel, none of them fit History Channel. Also, the Bible story fit. Fine. So, and Elokim goes on. The Torah says, now the third day. What did he do on the third day? He said he separated the dry land from the sea, from the water. You know, you go to South Africa, I was there years ago, and you go to the southern tip of South Africa, there is the oldest rock on earth. This is the oldest dated, they can date it. This is the first rock that came out from the sea. There is no life in it, no fossil in it. So the scholars said that one time the earth was covered only with ice, and then suddenly the earth came, the rock came up. You know, I was in Yellowstone Park a few weeks ago, and I was driving there. You see all these huge rocks. They tell you that this huge rock that's 3,000 feet high, they were 7 miles under the ground. They went up. You see the melting, everything. You see the sign of the melting rock is still there. And in the gap, which Yellowstone Park is, the gap, the valley, actually was created by ice glacier that moved there. And you see the rock still, a huge rock on the ground, and our counselor, the guide said, you know, this rock was thrown by the glacier that once they moved here. I understand how the guidance knew that, but how did Moses know that? That's amazing. How did Moses know that before anything else, the dry land came up? Anecdote, as we drove through the park, my grandson is now 3 years old, Doran. So we were really all overwhelmed. You sit there and nobody talks. We drive through the valley. It's awesome. And then there is a big cave, a big space created by 2 huge rocks. And our car kind of passed by, and we went slowly, silent in the car. And then 3-year-old Doran says, "Mom, is that the end of the world?" So I said, "No, Doran, it's the beginning of the world." Okay. So, and then what happened on the Tuesday? On the Tuesday, the Torah says there was no life. But while the day was still on, the sun was still up in the sky, there was a major judgment. Elokim turned around and made a judgment. But anytime the name of Elokim appears in the Torah, a judgment is made. Take it as a rule of thumb. Elohim is not mentioned in vain. You see the name Elokim, a judgment was made. So here, usually it's the end of the day. He judged the day if it's good or not. Those who are good move on. Those who don't good, like the dinosaur, fall off. But here the judgment was in the middle of the day. Chapter 2 of Genesis will tell you what the judgment was, and that's not for now, but the judgment occurred on a Tuesday, midday, conceptually, and Elokim saw that everything is good. Good means firm, solid, ready to go on. A decision was made, and life was planted on earth. What life? Not fish, not dinosaurs, but seed of life, he says. Seed of life, DNA, bacteria, seed of life that grew into grass. I'm just quoting, grass, then vegetation, and then tall trees of fruit and tall trees. And that's what History Channel says. Exactly the same order. On those rocks that came out from the sea in South Africa, on top of that, there are bacteria. And the bacteria for millions of years, each day it lasted millions of years. So those bacteria produce oxygen. And through the DNA information they got on, they start to proliferate. And from one cell became a creature of two cells, and then vegetation, and all that started, History Channel says that. Big forest, and now the whole earth is covered with forest that produce oxygen. And then there was evening, there was morning, day 1, day 3. Day 3 is over. Well, the History Channel description and the science really fit exactly, day by day, almost by the word, what Moses said. Again, the question is, how did Moses know that? Pharaoh didn't tell him. The Canaanite who sacrificed children to the Molech at that time, of course, couldn't tell him that. The Roman told him, the Greek told him. Who told him that? Read the mythology of the Greek at that time, what they were thinking about the creation. In year 14 BC, 1400, 52, or something. Jim Long can tell you exactly the date. So now we come to day 4. The Torah says, well, there will be luminary seen. It doesn't say there will be sun. Luminary means you envision, you can see it in the sky. The sun and the moon were seen the first day on the 4th day. What does it mean? We understand it now. Maybe we understand it better than Moses, so to speak. Well, Moses was on Mount Sinai, he probably knew all that. But we understand it better than our predecessors. We understand it from more than a former generation, because why? At first, the science said that the trees were so tall, there was no sun, the sky was overcast. That's what History Channel will say. And in order to grab the little light that they enter, the trees has to go very, very tall. Sequoia tree in Yosemite Park remind me of that. I saw them, look, the tree is still tall. And imagine those days they were even taller than sequoia trees. But once they were tall and produced oxygen, History Channel says, the oxygen dispersed the cloud. The opposite of how you call it? What we are afraid today from those hot, the CO2. The opposite of warming of the globe. The cloud dispersed. More sun was available to enter Earth. So now the tree could get smaller. So the tree started to shrink. And the light went millions of years, more and more into the land, to reach what? To reach the sea. Now, the first time ever, energy, photosynthesis, occurred in the sea. Which means the next day, the fifth day, the Torah says there were fish. The Torah doesn't say there were lions first. Moses said there were fish. Not only that, Hashem blessed the fish, proliferate. And the Torah called them moving animals. Because until then there was only vegetation. Vegetation doesn't move. They can proliferate, but by the wind. Here now, moving creature devolving in the sea, because it's easier to move around in the water, with the energy entering the water. And now we have fish. And from the fish we have crocodile, which means those amphibian creature that went to land, and the bird, and you got the fifth day. I'm telling you, Moses, when he was seeing, suppose Moses was standing there on the Nile, watching all this plethora, in Africa, all this abundance of creatures running around like crazy. Who told him who came first and who came second? You can say anything you want. Who even told him there is an order? Pharaoh didn't tell him that. The Egyptian wise men didn't know that. So who told Moses the story that fits History Channel, word by word? And now the day is over. There is evening, there was morning, there was evening, there was morning. Day 5 is over. There is a new judgment. Elokim, the judge, the harsh judge, decide that some of creatures won't go next day. Some of them will disappear by natural way, because Elokim walk by nature. The dinosaurs are gone. And now we enter the 6th day of creation. The 6th day of creation is Adam, first cattle, then the beast that feed on the cattle, and then the things that crawl on the ground that feed on everything else. And then there is a stop. And man, there is another judgment to see if to make Adam or not in the middle of the day. I want to say one more word about the way that Elokim judge. I should have said it earlier. We said Elokim judge measure by measure. So you eat, and you are eaten. One day all of us will be eaten. So we eat our chicken, but one day Elokim will pay us. We will be eaten by other creatures. So from Elokim point of view, from absolute justice, that knows no mercy, the world is right, it's good. He is satisfied. If somebody dare to violate his laws, he's gone. If the universe is elegant, if the atom is just a little bit bigger, the electron is a little bit have more mass, the scholar says, the physicist say the universe won't exist. It is a precise universe, elegant universe, as Green wrote his book recently. Elegant universe. Everything is so quick. Nothing can change. If you change just a little bit, the universe will explode. That's Elokim, the hand of Elokim. Precise, ruthless, but kind, and pay you measure by measure. So now we come to our story. We appear on the scene. How did he create us? Are we different than a mosquito or not? Are we just an extension of nature or not? To whom he was speaking when he made us. And that's a story of the 6th day afternoon before the Sabbath. And that's a story we're going to explore tomorrow. Have a nice day.